Hey guys, it's Rachel Castille. I'm so excited to announce a couple of things. Today is the 1 year anniversary of Firestarters, my journey of starting an online network marketing community, helping people make an income online, birth their voice, step into their power, and begin to be the influence that they're made to be in the world. And today is also Typology Tuesday. So I want to share my journey of the last year of starting Firestarters and at the same time pausing on my Typology Corner community. I have another YouTube channel called Typology Corner, my website, as well as typologycorner.com, which is all about personality types and helping people understand the makeup of their soul and enter into greater health and understanding and alignment in their life. So, this last year has been an incredible, vulnerable journey where I actually struggled to walk in all that I am because of seeing an area of my life that was coming back online, and that became Firestarters. And for me to walk in that and all that I am, I kind of compartmentalize myself over the last year because I was fixated on birthing fire starters. And in the beginning of my journey, I started in a company called LiveGood before finding Enagic. These were two things that God was bringing together to be entry points into the fire starters community and a way for people to start an online business wherever they can afford to do so in the wellness space. And I did a lot of yo-yoing back and forth. I found Live Good, then I had a word from God specifically about Enagic, the Kangen water business. I walked away from Live Good. I was trying to birth Enagic. Took me like 9 months to get an investor to start that business. And just in having a business loan to start that, I was like, I got to make my money back and I'm going to do this. I was just so like set on what I was going to make that year. And really, it was a journey that God was taking me on to see how willing I was to disconnect from myself to try to hit a goal. And I began to see this. It's been a journey of like 6 months, but I hired a business coach, Charmaine Stevens. She's absolutely incredible. It's been amazing seeing where things went. That she actually came to Kenya just a month ago, less than a month ago, and just seeing what God is doing here and bringing business to Africa and raising people up here, and just an incredible alignment. But I felt to hire her as my business coach back in January, and something that came like something that was really apparent to her that I struggled to see for months. I remember in the beginning, she was like wanting to coach the full me, not just fire starters, not just my network marketing company. And she was seeing like what I do in Typology Corner and what I bring as a leader in spiritual development and things like that. And I was just like really fixated on I've got to get fire starters off the ground. And that's been my consciousness for the last year. So July the 7th is the day that I started my Enagic business and began fire starters. And so yeah, I struggled to see how to flow in all that I am, and how my fixation on trying to launch one thing was actually me still not living self accepting, living fully visible, flowing as me instead of just being fixated on how do I accomplish this goal? How do I get fire starters off the ground? How do I recruit people? How do I prospect better? How do I um, close more deals and things like that? And I've been learning so much lately, like looking back on what God did in me in starting on this journey of birthing fire starters, of birthing Typology Corner, and how to flow as Rachel, just like to do it all here. And I've just been seeing more clarity on having places and funnels and libraries of information for people who want to grow in certain services that I offer and paths, be it to partner with me in business, which is like on the job training of walking out your leadership development, growing in your voice. And then Typology Corner is about seeing you. All of this is the same journey, because whenever you start in entrepreneurship, it's all about you. It's about you being in touch with your why, what you feel drawn to change in the world, what impact and what your gifts are. So this journey of seeing yourself and seeing the market is all what entrepreneurship is. And I feel called to help people in the spectrum of both things, to see what they are and then to market what they are to the world, and to see who they're called to reach as well and what solutions they're to bring. And that extends into products and services that flow from who you are. And so I titled this Becoming More Yourself While Building a Business. And that's exactly what this last year has humbled me into seeing, how um, how parts of me I would hide subconsciously, or I don't know that I processed it that way, but it this journey to birth Firestarters, which is a community of people building online businesses in a team-oriented environment, with two different network marketing companies, and the journey of what that looks like to succeed in that space. It really looks back at the individual. Who are you? What is your story? What is the journey that you're on? What do you add to community? And are you comfortable with visibility? Are you comfortable being seen? And the whole topic of branding, the brand that you are, birthing a brand is going to show you if you feel uncomfortable with yourself, if you have insecurities, if you're trying to be like other people, um, if you think your story's not powerful, if you're trying to appeal to certain audiences, maybe your family, you don't want to be made fun of. All of these things come up on the journey of building a network marketing business. You got people who have preconceived notions about network marketing, about your company, about your products, about um, just the whole industry as a whole. And it's been this beautiful journey to show me my soul, to show me um, what what is the idol of my heart. And so this journey that God's had me on is showing me what my heart is to bring, and in doing that, how do I communicate that? So that brings me into presenting that as a leader, if God gives you a vision, God gives you a purpose in business, it's your responsibility to be the one that is burning. That's the thing. Like, I've got this word, this mandate about fire starters and fire. And I'll go back to this. I had this encounter with Yeshua a couple days ago. I mentioned this in my last live, and I was at my husband's new ministry place. It's an incredible partnership with another apostle here in Nairobi, and I sat at the feet of Yeshua, and I began to cry and just feel his heart, his compassion for people, and how he was able to die for people that killed him in the end, like the love to give his life for the world. And I just felt this, like, how does a leader start a movement? How does an individual walk in such a way that no matter if they have support or if they don't, if they're attacked or if they're not, that their message is clear, that he was a message to the world. And that's what each one of us are. We are a particular message with specific giftings, sent here to do something specific in the world. And I began to just like weep and wail as like this shame started coming off of me. And it's been a journey, like every day, to lean more into the vulnerability of giving my life and taking responsibility for what it looks like for me as a leader to birth what I'm supposed to do in the world, and not stop at some excuse of like, oh, this person didn't support me, or these people, they're not doing this. And I thought this was going to happen and it didn't work out that way. Or it sure would be easier if I had so and so backing me, or whatever the stuff is, right? I need constant encouragement all of the time. Like all of those things. That's what I was just like dying to as I was sitting in that encounter with Yeshua, that I was just like burn all of this off of me. I want to burn. I want to be the message that I am. And I don't want any part of my calling to be covered, to be repackaged or compartmentalized in a corner somewhere. What does it look like for me to present the vision that you have put inside of me, and to start today in the way that I can do it, and to create something with it, and then to create something with it again, and to steward that? And the thing that I learned in coaching with Charmaine, I began to see like systems are so important, and not to be like prideful about my systems, that like, oh, I built this and I built this other thing, and like, I don't want to have to build that again. I'm good here. I don't need any help in these areas. And I just want to get this thing off the ground. I want to make the money. I want to get the partnerships. I need to just like, it's like this state where it's like, when a leader's not taking responsibility, but going like, this person could really help the vision. This person would be a really good match over here. And it's like, it's not wrong to see divine alignments, or to see like, hey, we probably could build something together. But I'm realizing like, if I'm not sitting at the seat of being the presenter of my vision and what God has given me to do, I'm putting that responsibility on other people to say, hey, y'all carry the vision. Y'all help me get there. And then there's the sense of expectation and disappointment within that. And that's what I was just like realizing, like, God, whatever it is that's in the way that's causing me to not burn like I should be burning, where I'm making excuses for the lack of momentum in what God has given me to do. I'm actually like, I'm just asking God, like, show me what it is that needs to move in me, so that I can hold myself responsible for the message, for building the systems, building the resources. And this is what I'm getting to, is that God has slowed me down. God has done a lot of healing in me. God has been just putting me in places so that I can see myself, and that I can share my journey of typology. That's like, I'm kind of weaving this stuff together. I might be talking all over the place today. And I'm really just in this place of trusting my heart and letting my heart speak, and to navigate what that looks like, because everything that God has put in me is me, right? So I don't need to be in any lack mentality about speaking, or what if I don't say it right. It's just like, I have a platform and I'm going to speak on it, and I'm going to watch God birth what it's meant to be. And that's why I'm talking about this weaving of Firestarters, this weaving of Typology Corner, because it is Rachel. Business, my path, all of this is Rachel giving herself permission to share what she carries with the world. And so that's what I'm doing. And so just observing this journey of the last year of Firestarters. Today is the anniversary, year one. And what was the lessons in it? What is God teaching me? And God has slowed me down. Really, it's been a year of trying to pump the brakes so Rachel could realize that all of this is her. All of this is my heart poured out, and the love of expression, of communicating the vision that God has given me. And I've had like 3 months of trying to build presentations For LiveGood and Firestarters, that's one entry point into the community, and Enagic and Firestarters, another entry point. And I had the vision of hosting weekly masterclasses that people can come and experience LiveGood on a Thursday night, and the next Thursday they get to experience Enagic. And this being also a business growth tool for the whole community to invite people to experience what Firestarters is about and what the business opportunities are, how they can get started, and to facilitate the growth of an entire community to grow in their businesses and their voice and their brands and the development of that. So I've been on this journey of developing these presentations, and it just like bumped into all this mess in my soul, being called into presenting and speaking, and how avoidant I've been of that responsibility since the beginning of starting Firestarters. I started partnered with another community that was incredible, doing so much, really gifted girl named Kelsey. And it just felt really comfortable to not have to step into doing presentations or building systems or doing any of that. And God called me. I'd already like started Firestarters, but it was just like, okay, this will be my little community right here. And God was like, no, you really need to steward it and birth what I've put in you for it to become what it's meant to be. And but on that journey, God has been showing me my avoidance, my perfectionism, the control that I was living in for my whole life, like for 30 years of my life, uh, where I've been micromanaging perception to the point that the idea of doing a presentation and a live one freaked me out. And I'd made one, pre-recorded it, and that was it. I'm just going to use this pre-recording for months, and I don't want to have to do it again. And so that's something that unraveled back in like April, I would say, is when I saw, okay, I need to make a new presentation. I made another one maybe in February while I was in Cameroon, right when I was about to move permanently to Kenya. And then I started on the journey of building presentations, and I just struggled. I did one, and then there was a lot of like in-person things here in Kenya that was absolutely incredible. We had the the Global Business Summit with Charmaine in Nakuru, in Nairobi. It was amazing. Then we started up the House of Life Imperial Embassy, our local ministry. With my husband, Cave of Mystery and Apostle Wasanga, and Kingdom Touch Ministries. And we've had my mother-in-law is here in Kenya right now. We have really good friends from Switzerland, another friend that's from Canada who's living here. And God's been doing so much locally in me that I then was getting a lot of clarity on how to move in different parts of my calling. I've started a business called Gateway Africa that I'm going to be developing my website here this week to birth that as well. I've got a community that's starting around that as well. But in light of all of that, God has brought me back to foundations. It's like, okay, I'm getting a lot of clarity, I'm getting a lot of vision, seeing myself moving around Nairobi, making content. Then God was talking to me about bringing Typology Corner into Rachel Castille, and to not have all my things in all these different places. And Rachel Castille Music, I'm working on an album this year as well. And just the timeline of all of that, God showing me how to flow in that and to take unrealistic timelines that I've put on myself, because like I said, with Firestarters, I'm like, I want to get this off the ground. I want to pay off my loan. I want to do all of these things. And I realized like the thing that all of those like fixations really was controlling is me not coming into the revelation of how loved I am and how freely I can share from my heart. And in order to learn that lesson, God just had to break me down from how, like, this idea of like, I know what my presentation should be. I know how I should speak. I've studied marketing, but I have no grace for myself. I have no grace for anything I'm saying. I'm critical. I want to start everything over whenever I talk. And God has been helping me with like going live. Like I could have made this video as a pre-recorded video, and I just see like I don't need to do that. Like that's not actually good for me, in terms of what story I'm living under. So yeah, God's been speaking to me about just letting my heart flow and getting in sync with the timing of God. Like I can see certain things that God wants me to do, and I'll get very specific detail, and then I'll put that expectation on myself today. Like everything's about today for me. And God's showing me like, no, go back and steward these smaller things. Look at what I was doing in you in this year, the first year of Firestarters, and look at how Typology Corner you've like completely stopped it all year. I had a friend of mine. She was like, girl, you've been holding out on me. I didn't even know you did any of this, that you knew any of this personality stuff. You didn't tell me about this. I'm like, I sure didn't. Why? Because this whole year, I paused it because I was fixated on birthing something else. And yeah, every time someone kind of brought attention to it, I just kind of shrugged it off like, oh no, you don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing this right now. And this is the season for this. And then God started to call me into music whenever I came to Kenya back in September for the first time. I met Rabbi Cosmos, and that just stirred up the music. And then I got connected with his spiritual son in Cameroon, and we started working on my album. And now I'm looking at all these things being birthed, and like, God, what is the timeline versus how I've put it on myself? And the lesson my heart has needed to learn is the value of what I carry, and trusting Holy Spirit in the releasing of all of the things in the same season, without rigid timelines, without rigid expectations, and just to love the expression of the things that God has taught me, the things that I see, and to do the work of building people up with what God has given me. And that's what I'm doing with Typology Tuesdays. I very well could talk about typology kind of throughout. I might talk about my services, and that you can book typing sessions with me and coaching. And I have a Typology Corner Patreon, a community, a Discord server, a place where I answer your questions, and a place to grow with other people who love personality types and understanding the makeup of your soul and things like this. So I could talk about this throughout the week, but I just felt Typology Tuesday just to create a space for me to share on these topics, and to weave it in with business, and how God has shown me the work that I do in Firestarters in developing people is to help them walk out their journey. And their journey is totally based on the way that they're wired. Their Myers-Briggs, if you've heard of like ESTP, INFJ, knowing your personality type and the way you're made, the way you make decisions, the way you take in information, if you're an introvert or an extrovert, what your calling looks like. It's all connected to your personality type. And then your Enneagram journey, that is your heart journey, your coping strategies, and how you've fallen asleep to the real you, and what waking up looks like, and bringing your spiritual gifts to the world, and walking in the virtues of God versus the vices that you have a tendency towards because of your heart journey that you're on. So all of that is so relevant for business. And honestly, what I do in Firestarters is like the unspoken actual work of people breaking their patterns and stepping back into who they really are and being the leader that they're meant to be. Network marketing is such an incredible vehicle to highlight that journey and help people walk that, by having them to market something that they believe in, and it's going to reveal the soul journey of whatever the idols are in their heart, and also the giftings that they have and what it looks like to build a business as them. So all of it's connected. So I use the knowledge I have as an Enneagram certified life coach, and a fanatic of Myers-Briggs and objective personality for like the last probably like 12 years. And so it's the journeys of individuals. They look different based on who you are. So it just helps me be a coach in life And for those that want that specific reading of themselves, you can be typed in the Enneagram, typed in objective personality, and book those sessions with me. And you can find all of my links at rachelcastille.com here. My other websites for booking coaching, for learning about Firestarters, Gateway Kenya. I have the link there, and Lord willing, throughout this week, I will get that site up so you can book consultations related to Kenya and visiting here, moving here, and yeah, so that is being developed. But so yeah, all of that is there. And Typology Corner is something that I want to just flow and show you the practical side of personality, and also talk about the importance of moving into entrepreneurship, which is really owning your sonship journey, that you have specific gifts. And if you lean into those gifts and you become visible, which is what? Coming back into the presence of God. When you're in the presence of God and you're visible before people, you're vulnerable and honest and transparent with the world, people connect with you. That is how you develop a brand. If you hide behind your products and services and you're not yourself in your brand, then there's no real impact. It's all about strategy, manipulation, and trying to get the sale. And it's this lack mentality. But whenever you can come into being yourself and presenting yourself and loving what you are, and seeing that your platform is your own free space to release what you want, and to realize like how we thought what people think about us, or our parents' expectations of us, we thought that that had some type of weight on our ability to show up in the world. We begin to realize like how much freedom we really have when we step into this, and we surrender to God, and we say, God, yes, you have my yes. I'm here to burn and be the flame that you've called me to be in the world. And when you yield yourself to that, it begins to burn off all of this other stuff that holds us back, that we're so trapped in all these other things we think we can't live without. And that's what God wants to set you free from as you begin to develop greater trust with Holy Spirit, with Father, with Yeshua, and you receive the finished work of Christ in your life, which really speaks to you are allowed to come all the way back into the presence of God and receive what you need to receive. And that's what happened in this encounter I had with Yeshua a few days ago. I just sat there and I just let my heart receive what it needed, and whatever the heck broke off, I would just like let it happen in this room. And I just started like wailing with people all around me. I was just like wailing as God broke through all this stuff. And this is where we get the empowerment and the grace to be the voice, to be the message that we are meant to be in the world. And that is my heart with Firestarters. That is the very vision God has given me of what is possible with network marketing. Network marketing gives a level playing field of, hey, we all market the same products and services, and now it is about you. If you can't market it, it's because of the junk in your soul and the way that you're living and the things you're hiding behind. You're not present, so you're not actually standing in your seat of authority. You're not being the leader that you're made to be. And this is why a lot of people, they come against network marketing, because nobody likes the mirror that it is. And that's why I connect this to typology as well, because typology is the direct mirror. Do you want to see yourself? Then book a session with me and I will help you see your soul. But network marketing will put you in the exact same mirror. So you will see you are the variable. Why did this person become a millionaire and I can't get one sale with the same product? So it's proven I am the issue. And when we can love ourselves enough to be in that mirror, to be in the refiner's fire of Holy Spirit, where we say, hey, break all this stuff off of me. Let me see myself. And I want to come back into my influence. I want to come back into who you created me to be, and to share that with the world. When you choose visibility, that's when you're actually receiving the love of God, and you are giving the gift that you are to the world. This is so important. Oh, God bless you. Love your transparency, Rachel. I love your sound. Bless you heaps. Thank you so much, Ferdy. Thanks for being on. So this is my heart. And I've realized, like, I've blamed people so much of like, this is so unconscious, but I'm saying it's true. We don't hear the sob story, the victim stories we are living in. When I'm saying like I have blamed people for why I couldn't get my vision off the ground, why I was hurt when people didn't believe in it. And I'm like, how do I go into a marketplace and promote something that I feel like the market has like some type of negative stuff out there? Like, how do you be the good news into an audience that already has preconceived notions? Like, I was like kind of mad at God. In a way, this is admitting the truth. Here we go. I wouldn't have said ever I was mad at God, but see, the truth is coming out. But I was kind of mad at God that, like, why are you calling me to all the things that's hard? Why are you calling me to do all the things? Can't I just always promote and do things that's already known in the marketplace? People love it. And I'm just out here like, yeah, guys, you know that thing that y'all love? I got some of it. But it's like, okay, God has assigned me to uncover things, to take a gem and bring it to the world and make it known. Contrary to whatever the heck is in the market, I got to go out there and be a burning, resounding sound in the marketplace, that I liberate the lies and the delusions off of people, that they can enter into the reality of what God showed me. And that is the beauty of personality types, and God given me this gifting to see the soul, and then to give me systems that helps me to articulate to help other people see their soul too, and to see the makeup and what health and balance and what their path looks like. So like the language of all of that, that is an assignment for me to then put that in the world and to host it until people enter into that light and to receive it and to benefit from that level of perception. So that is my calling as a prophet, is to help to awaken who people really are on the inside. So that's what typology is to see through the illusion, to see through the pain, to see through the trauma, to see through what someone's parents have spoken over them, into the actual destiny, into the actual purpose on the inside, and break all the other stuff off, so that who they really are can stand up and rise and thrive and be completely unstoppable. Because literally, when you come to see the divine being that you actually are, you are a God in the earth. You literally are. Yeshua said, don't you know that ye are gods? That was his actual message. Is like, wake up from this consciousness of condemnation, shame, guilt, regret, all this stuff, and come back to who you are. Through the blood, you are completely redeemed, apart from your own righteousness, to come back to the table with the Father, with Holy Spirit, and to grow and to be raised up in your sonship journey, to be the ambassador that you're sent to the earth to do what you're called to do. So if you wake up to who you truly are, you really are unstoppable. You need to be consistent. You need to be visible. You need to market yourself, because the reality is the brand is you. Like, if you're not willing to stand up and be you, I don't care what your product or service is, you will not be successful in the marketplace, because they're like, there's something off with you. You don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in your product, or you need me to believe in it. Like, you can't put on your audience or your clients to carry your business, to carry your mission, to carry your purpose, to carry your ministry. It's not, please don't leave the church and please tithe, because if you don't tithe, then I have no ministry. It's like, no, you should be, honestly, like, you're not living in your truest identity if you are dependent on your audience in that way. Because like, moths come to the flame. So if you are trying to manipulate and control and lock the doors so they don't leave, if you're doing all this stuff, then you don't really have what you claim to have. You are manipulating through giving somebody a theology on tithing or whatever, so your business doesn't fall apart, the business of your church or your ministry or whatever. There has to be freedom. If you carry real liberty, and if you're living as you truly are, and you're birthing your honest story in the world, it will seriously have influence, and people will crowd around it because it actually benefits them. You're actually a solution to something in their life. So that's the reality of what God has called me to do, is to speak to people, to help them see their actual self, their actual giftings, and their actual spiritual gifts, and to step into that. And what you've got to see the stuff that you're doing as well. You've got to see the patterns, the emotional places that you're stuck, and the place where you don't trust God, so you can come back into the light. And yeah, so that's the journey of entrepreneurship. And what I do in Firestarters, what I do in Typology Corner is help you see you and help you walk out the path of you in entrepreneurship through marketing products and services that are the beginning and the birthplace, where you can start your business and where you can help other people change their finances as well. And that path is going to grow into all the things that you are, all the things that's inside of you, like how God has done it in my life. I'm called in network marketing as a vehicle to birth entrepreneurs. And I also have other businesses as well that flow from my giftings, that are other things that I offer. And that's what God has been teaching me over this last year, that it's not about fixating on a business and I've got to get this business and I need to get sales. It's like, no, you need to be yourself. You need to show up in the world. You need to care about people. You need to offer your gift to people and market your products and services alongside of being a presence and being available. And that's how business is ministry. Literally, the leaders that succeed in business, they are a ministry. Not everybody. I got to kind of think about that, but in a way they are. They are administering something to the community. Those that stand up and have responsibility for something in the community, they are changing people, be it on a natural level or a soul level or a spiritual level. So, but all the more for sons of God, who will become visible and own their platform, like literally StreamYard, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. These are free platforms that you can use to get your voice out there. And as you do that, all that you are becomes something where people can come and pick from that. And this is really the flow of the spirit, that it's not about being in a building somewhere, and church attendance and the tithe and the business of plugging in and serving in this building. It's like, no, go be who you are in the world. Go where your gifts want to bring you, and where Holy Spirit shows you things that is grieving you, that you know you have vision for, that you can shift, and then have the compassion enough to go and network with those people, build those relationships, and offer the solution that you carry. You can offer network marketing products. You can offer businesses that you've created. You can offer the wisdom and the knowledge and the love that you carry, that you've developed in your intimacy with God. And guess what? Your business is a ministry to those that you are connected to. You can minister to people all over the world in the global market. Start a global business through starting a network marketing business, and then learn the skill sets of marketing, learn the skill sets of prospecting and networking and community building, and giving your story, giving your journey to the world, and building people up from the things that you've learned in life, and watch God do incredible things. Watch God connect you with people all over the world. Watch God give you visions and ideas of how to steward your influence and how to steward the people that God has brought in your life, and to catch the vision of what you are to do in their life, what you carry that can shift something for them. And now you're serving a community, and you're really getting more downloads on what you were made to add through what you've been through. And this is this journey. And when you invite God, you invite the light of God in your life, God is going to show you you. And that's my heart, to help you understand your unique gifting, so you come out of comparison with other people, that you really understand what you are, what you add, and how to not be pigeonholed into anything that's out of alignment for you. And this is my heart. So I just want to share with you the importance of slowing down and inviting God in your life and getting in alignment. Alignment could be a particular community, certain relationships. It could be a location. It could be living in a certain place. And whenever you get in those right alignments, it could be having a business coach, getting married, so many different things, having different mentors that speak in your life. These things are going to open up so much for you. And when you welcome God to reveal who you are, you want to know who you truly are, not who you've come to believe yourself to be. This is when you can welcome truth in, because you know God loves you and it's not to humiliate you. And this is how we begin to see our personality type. We can see the emotional patterns that we're stuck in. We can see the addictions that we have. Our personality has a lot to do with what we love to binge and what we love to avoid. And when we can see this, it's really a beautiful thing. So I'm going to go deeper and deeper in this. In the meantime, if you do want to learn more about personality types, go to typologycorner.com. You can go to my website, and there's a resource section on there that will take you to my YouTube channel as well, Typology Corner on YouTube. So you check that out. But my aim is to integrate it all here in Rachel Castille. So, but there you can learn about objective personality, Myers-Briggs, the Enneagram, different personalities. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about so the 4 dichotomies of introvert, extrovert, sensing, intuition, thinking, feeling, judging, and perceiving. Every person has a 4-letter code of what their personality is that is also connected to 4 cognitive functions. And we all have a dominant function that is like our biggest life need and craving in life. If your first function is introverted, you're an introvert. So you have to go in to recharge and sort things out with that function. And then you go back out to the extroverted world. An extrovert is just a person whose dominant process is oriented outward. So they need stimulation from the outside world. They are focused on the object versus the subjective. So we're all kind of ambiverts. The extroverts' first process is oriented outward, but their secondary is inward. It supports that process. And then the third one is extroverted. And then the fourth one, the weakest one at the bottom, is introverted for the extrovert. And it's the opposite for your introvert. So we all have those 4 cognitive processes, how we take in information and how we make decisions. We each have 2 I said 2. We each have 2 decision maker processes, and we each have 2 observation processes, but one of them we prefer over the other, but we still have access to the other spectrum. So you get this variety of people. And some people dominantly are decider types. Their first cognitive function is a decision-making process. Other people's first cognitive process is an observation perception function, just taking in information and then making a decision. Some people's observer process is introverted. Some people's are focused on the outside, so different types of perception. The introverted observer is a organizing person. They remember things that they've gone through. They see the pattern or the memory, and they organize life according to those perceptions. The extroverted observer, they want to gather in new things all the time, new perception. I just want to observe and see everything, and I want to go and get more things and see more things. I don't know if you can tell, but that's my first function. So I'm an extroverted sensor dominant type. I'm an ESTP in the Myers-Briggs objective personality as well. So objective personality is looking at those 4 cognitive functions. For me, ESTP is extroverted sensing, then introverted thinking as my supporting decision-making process. So it's like my own understanding, my logic blocks, my reasons, pretty analytical mind that supports that gathering process of taking in new sensory 5 senses experiences. So yeah, I'm going to get into all of that. There are in total 8 cognitive functions. So you've got sensing is a function, intuition is a function. They're both about perception, be it the 5 concrete, the 5 senses, the like details, the concrete information, or the abstract. The intuition is like reading between the lines, the things that aren't readily theirs, kind of making those assumptive leaps about what could be, seeing the pattern in things. And some people, they see the pattern first. They see what's going on. They see that hunch, that gut knowing about stuff, and they kind of blur out the detail to see the pattern, if that makes sense, and or what's possible, the assumption in things. And then thinking and feeling is two forms of judgment. So some people make judgments based on their feelings, on values, be it their personal values or the values of the tribe. So it's the awareness of the value spectrum, the moral values, like and dislike, what's popular, how people feel about things, what people like, and making a decision on that. Then we have our thinker dominant types. They are more inclined to make decisions based on logic, reason, their understanding, what is effective, the consensus of what makes sense, and that whole thing. So that looks different. So essentially, I'll say out of those four things, they can all be oriented inwardly to the subject, so personal, or oriented outward, being very aware of these things in the outside world. So that splits into into 8 cognitive functions. And the makeup of all of the Myers-Briggs types, it's 16 types, and they all have 4 functions in a certain order. So instead of just like reading a description and be like, oh, that's like me because of some type of archetype, it's actually looking at the wiring of the mind. What is first? What is second? What is third? What is fourth? And then the life imbalances are based on if you're super strong in this, you're pretty avoidant of this other side, or this is uncomfortable a little bit. So yeah, there's a whole variety there. So out of splitting that up, just to explain briefly here. So out of the 16 types, they could be split into 4 groups based on the core human need because of what the dominant process is. So out of these types, you have the types that start with an I and end with a J. The IJ types, they have the dominant human need of organizing because their dominant process is an observer process that is internal. So they've organized their experiences, be it it's intuition or sensing. They've had experiences, they've seen things, they've seen the pattern or just memory, and they order their life according to those perceptions, and everything kind of serves that. The opposite, we have our gatherers, that is the EP types. I'm an ESTP, so all your EP types have this in common. There are 4 of them. And they are dominantly gatherers. They have the human need of gathering in new information because their perception process is leading the ship at the top. And it's taking in new possibilities or new experiences, a hunger for the new. And so they have the life imbalance of organizing all the stuff they're gathering all the time. And now, then the other 2 groups, they're in the judgment. They are decider dominant type people. We have our EJs. The EJs are the extroverted judgers, and they have the dominant human need of tribe awareness. So their dominant process is a judging function focused on the outside world. So they are the most aware of everybody else, seeing the spectrum of what's popular. If it's feeling, they're very in tune with everybody's emotions. They can tell the vibe changed in the room. They're kind of the masters of moving the vibe or shifting the atmosphere because they can feel how everybody is doing, more than even being in tune with themselves. So they have that dominant human need of tribe validation in a way because they are aware of the tribe the most. The thinker version of that is more like an awareness of the reasons of the tribe, the thinking of the tribe, the perspectives of the tribe, and they will choose those sorts of things. It's like what is working for everybody. They can tell. They can be like engineers because they can see what's working, what's not working, and how to make it better, how to get better results, that sort of thing. Then flip that the opposite way. Take a judgment process and let it lead the ship of a person and it be their internal process. That is like introverted feeling, introverted thinking. We have our IP types. Our IPs are, they have the greatest human need of identity. They've got to know their own identity, where they land on a matter, what their reasons are. If they're the thinker, they're understanding the things the conclusions that they've come to and what makes sense for them. They're very independent thinkers in that way. And then the introverted feeler, the other IPs, there's two there's two types that lead with each one of these cognitive functions throughout it all. So the IPs, there's four of them, paired with a different secondary process that makes the variation. But so our IP types, I was thinking about how much of a deep dive I just went in on this. But yeah, so our IP types have the dominant need of identity. They've got to know who they are. If it's introverted feeling, it's like my own morals, what I like, what I dislike. I have to live in alignment with that. Authenticity. I've got to stay true to myself. Yeah, they're very aware of their own emotions more so than other people and living in alignment with that. So just to look at that, that is the basis of Myers-Briggs. And then the Enneagram is more the heart instead of just how you're wired, how you make decisions, and like what information you're attuned to. The Enneagram is the heart pattern of uh, this is my core emotional struggle. I'm living from either the gut, I'm living from my head, or I'm living from my heart. And if I'm living from the gut, I have the core emotional struggle of anger, um, you know, boundaries and justice and what is right and pushing against the world or suppressing, a lot of these things about right and wrong and all of this. And then there's three types, three numbers that's in the gut triad, 8, 9, and 1. And then the heart triad has three types who have the core emotional struggle with shame, a sense of worth and identity and value. I don't really know my own value, so I have a coping strategy to do that by creating a sense of value and worth that makes them tethered to kind of what people think and creating a sense of image and who I am because they are struggling with the shame underneath of what makes me valuable. And then the three types that are living from the head, this is like how we leave the presence of God, really. This is how we move into our coping strategies that helped us in childhood because there were certain lies that we believed that moved us away from like really being able to trust to be fully present. And we navigate this either going into the head, going into the heart, or living by the gut and kind of being self-reliant in that way. The head types, they have the core emotional struggle of not anger, of fear or anxiety. And they need to create a sense of certainty, security for themselves, and to feel safe. And they have their own coping strategy to do so. So the types in the head triad is 5, 6, and 7. And the 3 that is in the heart triad is 2, 3, and 4. I'm a type 2. I'm in the heart triad. And so I will be going more into that. Each one of them have an archetype name, and they have a core desire, a core fear, a core longing, and a core vice that they struggle with because of a certain lie that they believe. And they might on a conscious level think like, oh, I don't believe that, but it's what the heart has been struggling with. It's been they chase after a certain truth their whole life while running from their fear, while trying to get the thing that they desire. And until their heart really knows the truth of God's love and that they can find that thing that they're looking for in God, they still go and basically find their own way of satisfying themselves, which keeps them out of alignment, out of their assignment, and from discovering the true virtue that they actually exhibit when they're not in the grip of their coping strategies. So we wind up embodying the opposite of our vice as we come back into the presence of God. And we have that wisdom to give the world as we can see our patterns and wake up from them and live awake instead of asleep in the way that we learn to move through life. So that is the work of the Enneagram. So every person has an objective personality type / Myers-Briggs, and then they also have an Enneagram type. So that's what I'm going to be bringing out more and more here on Typology Tuesdays and weaving it in with business and entrepreneurship. And this is the important journey that I've been on of God slowing me down for me to see that it is about being myself in what I'm doing. And that's what I aim to help all of you do here on the channel, in the content. And so stay tuned, get plugged in. If you're not subscribed to me on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Comment below if you do know your Enneagram type or you do know your Myers-Briggs type. I would love to hear what that is if you do know. If you'd like to know more, go to my website, rachelcastille.com, to get to my other website. You might not know how to spell Typology Corner, I don't know. But all my links are at rachelcastille.com. You can book a session to be typed in both systems with me. So book the session that you want. I'd love to help you know your type so we can meet. The whole process of that, you can go and read about that on my website to book that session with me. And yeah, and again, happy anniversary to Firestarters. Today is the 1-year anniversary of my incredible community. I so love everybody who's in it. They have helped me grow so much. We're on a journey together, and just walking this out of birthing our own brands and growing in business. And I'm working on some foundations for Firestarters right now, so stay tuned. There's going to be some regular master classes where you can invite people to learn about Firestarters, and also just more content being done with a bunch of us coming out and podcasting and sharing our journeys, our stories, what we're learning in business, and just to help one another birth our voices and build together. So that is my heart for Firestarters, is that you don't have to do business alone. And there's room for everybody to start wherever you can to grow with other people who are on this entrepreneurial journey. So to learn more about that as well, go to rachelcastille.com and click on at the top, it says learn about Firestarters. So yeah, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you for all who have been on here live with me. I haven't really been watching too much because I had a little squirrel brain going on today, and I just felt to kind of lock in and talk today. But yeah, I so look forward to sharing more, going live more. It's been so good for me to just like lean into the vulnerability of what this year was like. That was the biggest thing. It's not what I thought, but it was everything I needed. This first foundation year of Firestarters, and then the reintegration of Typology Corner here on Rachel Castille on all platforms. And to walk this journey of loving my life, loving what I have to share, and just giving you guys my heart, and watching it all begin to flow, and trusting God, trusting God in this new counsel I've received from God of what it looks like to build my businesses and to build the brand of Rachel, which is just occupying my space and giving what God has created me to give to the world, and to encourage you to do the same. So that is it for this video. Bless you all, and I will see you all very soon.